Police Commissioner and technically his boss, the Junior Minister for Home Affairs, dismissing the attack on journalists inside a courtroom as a minor incident. The person, the BJP MLA who's been caught on camera attacking an unarmed man yesterday, is absolutely remorseless. What is going on and how do we make sense of this? 24 hours on, the FIR still just names unknown persons. It has no mention of any of these names. How does one explain this? Joining us on our talking point tonight here in our studios, Veer Sanghvi columnist, Vikram Singh is former DGP of Uttar Pradesh, Siddharth Varadarajan is founder editor of the Wire.in, Sudhanshu Mittal of the BJP, Nilotpal Basu of the CPIM, and Sanjay Jha of the Congress. Sudhanshu Mittal, how does one rationally explain? You have O.P. Sharma caught on tape beating up an unarmed man for whatever provocation, and by the way, nobody is willing to back him up on that provocation, but whatever provocation, he's beating that man and he's remorseless and no action should be taken against him?
Mr. Zaka, case has been registered against him and I'm sure the law will take its own course.
Case has not been registered against him.
As far as BJP is concerned, allow me.
Case has not been registered against him. That's a factual error.
Allow me. And as far as the BJP is concerned, nobody has endorsed violence by anybody. Nobody has the right to take law in his own hand. So the position of the party is very, very clear, and as far as the law is concerned, the law will certainly take its own hand.
So why doesn't the BJP take action? Why doesn't the BJP take action against this gentleman? You just said the BJP doesn't endorse violence, right?
Mr. Zaka.
No, you said the BJP doesn't endorse violence. I'm asking you a very simple question. Why doesn't the BJP then take action against O.P. Sharma?
Let him be charged and then subsequently the BJP will see what it has to do.
The BJP doesn't believe in this.
This is going on by police and
the BJP doesn't believe in this video. The BJP doesn't believe in this video.
Allow me to speak, or if you have to speak,
no,
or if you are of your own voice.
I'm asking you questions. I'm asking you questions.
No, you're not even asking me. You're not even willing to give me, allow me to give a reply.
Go ahead. Give me a reply.
Mr. Zaka, it cannot be a monologue.
No,
I'm listening. Put forth my point of view.
Yes, please.
There are three separate incidents. And by the way, Mr. Zaka, you said I do not know about any law which permits somebody to hit back in case he's attacked. I don't think you have read section 352. For your information, let me read it out to you. It says, whoever assaults or uses criminal force to any person other than on grave and sudden provocation given by that man shall be punished with imprisonment of either description for a term which may extend to 3 months.
By the way, nobody assaulted O.P. Sharma. Nobody assaulted O.P. Sharma. So let's get that.
The law does not exist.
Let's get that straight. Nobody assaulted O.P. Sharma. Nobody assaulted O.P. Sharma. Number one.
I'm not digressing.
No, number one. Number two. One second. I heard you out. I heard you out. 1 second. I heard you out. You hear me now. I heard you out. You hear me now. Number one. Nobody assaulted O.P. Sharma. Okay, let's get the facts straight. Number two, he's the only one. He is the only one alleging that anti-India slogans were raised. Nobody is willing to back that claim. Okay, so let's get the facts straight. Number one, nobody assaulted O.P. Sharma, and number two, Mr. Mittal, nobody is backing his claim that anti-India slogans were raised. Okay, go ahead now.
You are repeating yourself over and over again.
I'm not repeating myself.
On the same issue.
I'm just correcting your factual errors.
Can you have the patience to listen to the explanation?
Yes, please. Now,
to me, a more serious issue is the attack on journalists. You see, if democracy has to survive, then journalists must be fearless and they cannot be subjected to violence.
Thank you very much.
So it is condemned unequivocally. And I am sure people responsible for violence against journalists will be arrested. I have no two doubts about that.
Okay.
Thirdly, I do not expect you to equate the incident in JNU where anti-Indian slogans were shouted, people wanted to destroy India, people wanted to have Tukde of Bharat. I do not think that that crime can at all be compared with anything in the eyes of justice. That is something which is punishable with sedition.
Okay.
And any violence is 352. So let's not.
Okay, I want to first get reactions on this. I want to first get. I want to first get reactions on this. Siddharth Varadarajan, you were part of the journalists who marched today from Press Club to Supreme Court. Do you take what Sudhanshu Mittal says at face value? That at least he's saying that we unequivocally condemn the attack on journalists. I haven't heard anybody from the BJP say it in as many words. But the actions, whether it's from the Delhi Police Commissioner or from the Union Home Minister, by the way, petitions have been moved to him as well today by journalists. We haven't seen any sort of confidence-building action in that sense from either of them. Is there a mismatch between what the BJP says and the action that they should be taking?
First of all, I think it's disingenuous to separate the attack on journalists that happened inside the courtroom with the attack on JNU teachers that happened inside the courtroom by the same set of hooligans, and the attack that took place on students, teachers, and young CPI leader, Amik, by BJP MLA outside the court premises. All of these attacks are part of one shall we say, attempt to intimidate and threaten and browbeat individuals who are upset and at the arrest of Kanhaiya Kumar from JNU. And and of course, reporters caught because those who have effected this arrest and those who support this absurd arrest don't want the basic facts of the case to be reported. So journalists are obviously going to be targeted. Now, so separating these out into different incidents is not acceptable. Secondly, it's been more than 24 hours since the attack took place. Today, journalists who had filed the complaint told us at the rally, at our protest meeting, that no action had yet been taken on their complaint. So it's evident that whatever the fine words of Mr. Mittal, the Delhi police itself does not seem to be acting at all as it should under its obligations under the law. So I think that journalists today.
One sec. Let me finish. There's not going to be. No, sorry. 1 second, Mr. Mittal. There's not going to be cross talking on the show. I want to get Vikram Singh in as a former cop. I mean, isn't there enough? From whatever the media has shown, it's not the media's job to be investigating these things, but from whatever the media has shown, isn't there enough material prima facie to register a case against O.P. Sharma and against this gentleman Vikram Singh Chauhan?
Very disappointing indeed. One would have expected better results from a professional police force like that of Delhi. Firstly, a very cogent, incisive FIR against everybody. Look, this has happened in Delhi in a courtroom. It has not happened in the middle of nowhere. Yeah. And then you write an FIR that does not name anyone. You should have done your homework, come down with the facts and named people. And then to say and to talk with least sensitivity, which is the rule of law shall prevail. And there should be arrests within a span of 24 hours, 48 hours. Otherwise, you lose your vestiges of credibility. One would have expected much better results from a professional force like this.
So then what plausible explanation is there, Visangvi, to why Mr. Bassi and his force are not doing this? I mean, again and again, and to this minute, he continues to maintain, and we've heard that through the course of the show as well, that it was a minor scuffle, as though it was not such a big deal.
Well, Zaka, I think we have to see this in perspective. Mr. Bassi is a minor player who's trying to suck up to his bosses. I don't think there's any dispute about that. Perhaps for a post-retirement job. I don't know. I won't speculate. But what you have to see is what really happened. What happened at JNU was that slogans that were completely anti the integrity of India, which made my blood boil. And I don't think I've met a single person here who supports what was said. All of us were extremely angry. I don't think anybody disagrees on that. Where the disagreements are is on what happens next. Should they have been charged with sedition? Suri Sarabji says no. Did they pick up the right guy? Many people say no. Were they JNU students? Were they Kashmiris who'd come in? We don't know. There were many questions, and there were legitimate questions which should have been raised. My theory is that the whole thing would have died down over the weekend, except for two mistakes. The first is the Home Minister linking Hafiz Saeed to it on the basis of a parody account, which, I mean, makes you wonder about the Home Ministry, but that's another issue. But that escalated the thing. The second was this very unfortunate incident at Patiala House Court where there were assaults. The BJP's first reaction, yesterday we had another Sudhanshu Trivedi on the program, and he said what the guy did was right. It's the party's policy that if somebody says anything anti-Indian, it's okay to kill him. I remember my jaw dropped when I heard him say that. Listening to the other Sudhanshu today, listening to Sudhanshu Mittal, I think there has been some rethinking in the BJP, that they've realized that the old trick, which is just focus on the slogans and say anybody who raises other questions is anti-national anti-national because the slogans were anti-national is not working, because there was always a fundamental flaw in this theory, which is that it assumed the people of India were idiots. We are not idiots. People have seen through this. There is outrage. And I'm very happy to hear what Sudhanshu is saying today, even if I'm not happy to hear what Mr. Basi or Mr. Rijuju said on your show. I think there is rethinking in the BJP. There is a sense that they want this contained, that mistakes have been made, and I hope that's what will happen.
So, Sudhanshu Mittal, if on the basis of this, and we don't think, at least from whatever action he's taken up until now, Mr. Basi's not inspired any confidence, but if tomorrow in the FIR, Mr. O.P. Sharma is named as one of the persons who indulged in violence outside the Patiala House Court, will the party take action against him?
The party will certainly consider what it has to do. So let's not be preemptive. But here I am surprised. I had expected Mr. Sanghvi to express his concern about Omar Khalid not having been arrested till now. Mr. Sanghvi, there is no rethinking BJP. As far as our patriotism is concerned or our nationalism is concerned, we are very clear on two things. One, the law of land shall prevail. You have heard Mr. Kiran Riju saying, I am not the one who's going to direct the police. Because whom to arrest, whom not to arrest. An investigation agency is independent of any pressures. They will investigate and they'll come to the conclusion. So whether somebody is guilty or not guilty, let us not even prejudge this issue. Mr. Kanhaiya, what evidence the police has, I don't think it is for the TV journalist or me or you to decide whether it's adequate or inadequate. You refer to Mr. Swarabji. Mr. Swarabji has not even seen the evidence which is available to Delhi police.
No.
To conclude whether there is a case of sedition which can be made out or not.
That will be made out by a court of law, not by the Delhi police or by Sudhanshu Mittal or by Zakir Jacob. That's going to be made out by a court of law. No, one second. One second. No, Mr. Mittal, one second. You can't just carpet bomb this debate, okay? One second.
Now, if an action is taken, then it becomes an action to suppress the voice of dissent.
First of all, one sec. I don't think you've been watching CNN IBN, but over the last 5 days, ever since the story has been in the headlines, we've been saying this again and again and again. We do not condone those slogans that were raised in JNU, but so far there is absolutely not a shred of evidence to show that Kanhaiya Kumar raised those slogans. No, there is no evidence. No, when the honourable, one second, Mr. Mittal, one second. When the honourable Home Minister of this country quotes a fake tweet of a fake account, that's as good as a giveaway. I'm sorry. That's as good as a giveaway. Veer Sanghvi, you want to recover? Mr. Mittal, one sec, pause.
You should be debating.
One second.
What is
Veer Sanghvi wants to respond to you. Veer Sanghvi wants to respond to you. One second, Veer Sanghvi.
Listen, Sudhanshu, I think you've misunderstood. I am not saying that a case of sedition cannot be made out. I was on the show on Friday and I said I was prepared to concede that a case of sedition could be made out. I said I was prepared to concede that the police had evidence that Kanhaiya was there. I'm not disputing any of the things you're getting so agitated about. That the slogans were completely anti-national, that there are Kashmiri separatists roaming the country saying things that you and I will consider offensive. Nobody is disputing. So let's not get involved in that. That's a non-issue. Where you and I probably disagree is if there is evidence against Kanhaiya, and I'm prepared to believe you there is evidence against your MLA also. All we are asking is a degree of parity.
Yeah.
People have been beaten up. There is video evidence of this guy, and it's being dismissed as a scuffle. Mr. Basi said both sides are to blame on the assault of journalists. What were journalists doing? Assaulting these lawyers with their noses by banging them into their fists? I mean, come on. The reaction of the government has been completely disproportionate. I'm prepared to accept that your reaction in JNU was fine, fair, and proportionate, but show the same proportion.
Sanjay Jha, one second, please, Mr. Mittal, let me get my other two guests. Both Mr. Sanjay Jha and Nilotpal Basu have been waiting very patiently. Mr. Mittal, please, do not, I'm requesting you again and again, do not carpet bomb this debate.
If he's not been arrested, the police is in connivance.
Look, I have to get Sanjay Jha in. Sanjay Jha, is this finally, at the end of the day, this sort of binary choice, this sort of framing of this debate as traitors versus patriots, nationalists versus anti-nationals is a ploy, is a false choice that the BJP and the extended Sangh Parivar is offering to this country? And we shouldn't fall for this false choice, because this country and the people of this country are bigger than that. They're wiser than that.
Yeah, I think, Zaka, I agree with you completely. I think India deserves better. The truth is that, there have been disturbing developments for a while. If you go back to just a few days ago, Mr. Anand Sharma was physically assaulted when he went to the JNU campus. Now these are worrying signs, and I believe when I saw Mr. Sharma's conduct on television, I mean, these are very vulgar, violent manifestations. I mean, they reveal somewhere an intolerance which is now, frankly, very alarming. And because of the fact that it's part of BJP, which is the ruling government in the center, I mean, it shows brazenness, there's complete fearlessness, and the fact that they believe they can get away scot-free. And I believe if the Minister of State for Home says it's a trivial matter, then I think as a society we have to be gravely concerned. But end of day, as you rightly said, there is this whole monopoly on patriotism and nationalism that is being hijacked by the BJP, I think, as a great political strategy. I noticed on social media, I was in a debate on another channel some time back, and there is this whole hysteria being whipped around that if you say that the law of sedition may not apply to Kanhaiya Kumar, hey, get onto the train to Pakistan, we have a visa ready for you. And I think this whole attitude smacks of a very dangerous trend where I think the polarization is happening at different levels.
What?
Are you pro-Muslim? Are you pro-Hindu? Are you pro-national? Are you anti-national? Are you pro-caste, pro-this caste? I mean, these are fissures that I think we are voluntarily creating in our society, and I think it's time we woke up and
by the way, polarization has happened in the past as well. So I'm not saying that the BJP is the only political party accused of that. But Nilotpal Basu, the manner in which this is happening now, we saw similar scenes in the run-up to the Bihar elections as well. Is the political rationale for this polarization to the extent that if you even question whether sedition was applicable in this case of Kanhaiya Kumar, you're considered an anti-national, you're considered fit to go to Pakistan? I mean, is the political rationale to try and divide the electorate before these 5 state assemblies go to polls later on this summer in a way that it gives, again, and I keep saying this again and again and again, this false choice to the electorate that either you have to choose the Deshbhaks or you have to choose the Deshdrohis?
You see, for a party which has been all along fighting separatism, whether it is in Assam or vis-a-vis the Khalistan movement, and in Jammu and Kashmir itself, where our MLA has faced about 8 attempts on his life. If you face a situation where for taking whatever position we have taken, you have to see our signboard painted Pakistan Zindabad, then that in itself is a loud commentary. And I have not seen any of the BJP leaders or ministers expressing concern of that. You put it very rightly that as if this binary choice is there. This happens when one forgets the basic principles of a parliamentary democracy, where there is government and the accountability of the government to the parliament and the people at large. Now you see, nobody is talking about the brazenness of the issue. Now you have a court of law in the center of your national capital, where you are carrying an accused who is in your custody, and you cannot produce them and ensure the proper functioning of the court, so much so that petitioners have to go to Supreme Court to say that free access to justice must be ensured, and the Supreme Court accepts that. And the government and the representatives of the ruling party are absolutely brazen about not addressing that question at all. Yeah, I mean, how Mr. Mittal is, I mean, nobody. We expected that in the all-party meeting today, at least the Prime Minister will say that they cannot defend the rule of law right in the heart of the capital. That makes him ashamed. Then he could have claimed that I am a Prime Minister for the whole country. But I think we are really becoming a banana republic. You see, 400 universities, people are saying, what is this?
Okay.
That the state is so weak that it cannot take on certain slogans.
But, Mr. Mittal, you want to respond to that? I mean, ultimately, is this dividing the electorate, dividing this country and offering us this, most base choice between the patriots and the so-called trade? I mean, look, I think Mr. Basu is right. There were slogans written by we don't know who at the CPM office saying you're pro-Pakistan. I mean, I vehemently disagree with the CPM's policies, many of their policies. But the Communist Party of India, Marxist, is a recognized political party of this country. I mean, threat calls are made to its general secretary, and we still don't know. I mean, we're what, 3, 4, 5 days into those threat calls? The Delhi police has not taken any action, not even tried to take any action. Go to Pakistan. I mean, you can't say that to recognize political parties in this country, how much ever you may disagree with their political positions.
Mr. Zaka, is anybody from the BJP saying what Mr. Basu is saying should be done? Nobody said that. Nobody endorses such things at all. So let's not bring in petty politics, because what Mr. Basu is saying may be true, may not be true. I'm not getting into that. But as far as our stated position is concerned,
this is a petty
against them
politics.
saying you are Pakistani,
This is a petty politics.
Or any threatening
And
call.
Basi is saying what he is doing under the charge of the Union Home Ministry, and what I am saying is petty politics.
Okay, one second. Let Mr. Mittal, to be fair to him, let him finish his point.
Give me a break.
No, Sudhanshu. No, one second. Yeah, Sudhanshu Mittal, complete your point.
So that is not. See, you talk about intolerance. What is the case here? You have anti-national slogans being shouted, activities which are dangerous for this country taking place. And if the police is taking action in that, and if a concern is expressed about that, then you say it's a great divide. I heard Mr. Rahul Gandhi saying that there is an effort to suppress the voice of the students. If this is the voice of the students and if action is taken, I heard Mr. V. Sanghi saying his blood was boiling. I welcome that. So was the blood of everybody who was boiling, seeing what was happening. Now, if action is taken, then it becomes an act of suppression of voices. So what he says, no, now RSS, BJP is appointing vice chancellors in colleges to do this. I mean, what absurdity are we discussing today, yaar? What level of politics, what level of political narration is this? When it comes to the integrity of the nation, is this how we are going to respond as a nation? Is this how we are going to respond as a polity?
One sec.
As I said,
one sec.
there is unequivocal condemnation of any violence. Nobody in this country has a right to take violence.
And I welcome that. I wholeheartedly welcome that. I'm yet to come across a BJP leader.
There has to be accountability of that.
Okay,
no
I'm yet to come across.
Just one last thing.
Okay.
Allow me to correct Mr. Basu and yourself also. Do you know who holds the administrative control of the court premises? Not the Delhi police. Mr. Basu, please understand this, and so Mr. Zaka, you should understand. The administrative control of the court is held by the head of the court and not by the Delhi police. So please don't make false allegations
One second.
false suppositions about anything and everything you talk.
1 second.
Please be responsible.
Okay, can I counter that with fact? 1 second, can I counter that with fact? One second, Mr. Mittal. Mr. Mittal and Mr. Bikram Singh will back me out on this. That look, the physical security of the premises, in this case the Patiala House Court, certainly and most definitely rests with the Delhi police. Am I wrong?
Delhi police, absolutely right. Notionally speaking, yes, it may be with the presiding court, but at
the administrative control, not the physical security.
Yes, the physical control and the responsibility will vest with.
No, one second. He's an ex-policeman. One second. Mr. Mittal, 1 second. Let him speak. Please.
Sir, notionally speaking, the presiding court would have the administrative control, but the physical security is manned by the local police officers, and they are responsible for the law and order and the smooth functioning of the court. If it does not happen, the court they can enter into the court and take action as per law. It can't be a free-for-all, sir.
And by the way, Mr. Mittal, you'll be interested in knowing this. One sec. You'll be interested in knowing this. One of our reporters, Meenakshi Upreti, was threatened by a male lawyer. She was told, either you run out of this court or I'll slap you across your face. She goes to a female police constable who's there inside that courtroom and she says, "Ab chale jaiye yahan se, nahi to aapko bhi thappad lagegi." This happened to our reporter, by the way. Okay, Siddharth Varadarajan, again, I come back to the larger question that I'm trying to ask, and we've all been sort of grappling with. Is there a political rationale to try and divide the country, to try and divide the electorate? If, for example, I mean, I'm even willing to concede, okay, there are elections coming up in 5 states. The BJP wants to, give a tough fight in those states. But the BJP, I mean, I don't think anybody would take, even the people in the BJP would one second, Mr. Mittal, one second, please, one second, my question is not even addressed to you. 1 second, please, Mr. Mittal, I'm not even asking you a question. My question is to Siddharth Varadarajan. Why are you getting so all outrageous about it? 1 second. Siddharth Varadarajan, I'm hoping you can hear me over Mr. Mittal's noise. My question is simply this. If I'm even willing to concede that if the BJP were a serious enough player in these states, whether it's Kerala, Tamil Nadu, West Bengal, maybe okay, you can appeal to the base, you can appeal to your core voters and try and divide the electorate, try and get some electoral gains out of it. I mean, the BJP is not such a big player in any of these states, and yet they're going to such great lengths to polarize the people of this country. I mean, politically, it just baffles me.
Look, I don't think that what has happened over the last week in Delhi is linked to the forthcoming state elections. Having said that, it is clear that the BJP at some level appears to have taken a decision. No, but let me finish, Mr. Mittal. you may not thank me then. It does appear as if the BJP at the national level
let him finish.
Has taken a kind of
yeah, let him finish though. Yeah.
No, I don't find it offensive, sir. I applaud your generosity, but I'm saying, hear me out because you may not be so kind later. Now, what I'm trying to say is that at the national level, my sense is that the BJP, essentially what it is trying to do...
Okay. Yeah.
All right.
Go on, Siddharth, go on.
You know, the fact is that there is... I think the BJP is trying to control and stifle universities. I think that they are very concerned that universities or places of higher education across the board appear to be not amenable to the kind of control and diktat that the party and the RSS and the Sangh Parvar would like. We've seen this in FTII, we've seen this in Hyderabad, now you're seeing it in JNU. You know, thousands of people in Jammu and Kashmir connected to the Hurriyat every day shout slogans that are offensive to the people in the rest of India and that would qualify as sedition as per the Delhi police's charge sheet against people on JNU campus. Why is it that an obscure meeting of 30 people should exercise Delhi police and Rajnath Singh to such an extent that they've spent the better part of the last 4 or 5 days doing nothing else other than worry about what's happening at JNU? So there is a method in the madness. I think that there is a decision to somehow shift the terrain of debate, not on that was until now on the inadequacies of the Modi government or their insensitivity in dealing with Dalit students, as in the case of Hyderabad, to shift the terrain onto the more comfortable terrain of nationalism and so on and so forth. So I think the BJP has been quite effective in trying to do that, and I think that the reason they have talked this incident up to the absurd level to which they have done today, and the way in which they are inciting people, resorting to violence in the courts, this suggests that it's not simply a question of electoral gain, but I think a more strategic positioning that the party is taking over the next 3 to 4 years. This is the kind of game that they're going to play, that they want to define nationalism, they want to define the contours of what is acceptable, what is not, and those who disagree will be told to go to Pakistan, will be told that...
You're anti-national and so on and so forth. But Veer Sanghvi, I mean, is this a bit of a smokescreen to try and change? One second, I'll give you more than enough time to rebut this, Sudhanshu Mittal. But Veer Sanghvi, is this a smokescreen to try and take the attention away from the fact that, look, your Sensex is at what, a 20-month low. Your IIP figures are at as I understand, a 4-year low. Exports have fallen for the last 14 months straight. Make in India, this is grand event Make in India that's happening in Mumbai, but all the focus seems to be on JNU. Is this to take away attention from the ills of the economy?
Well, Zaka, there are two kinds of people. There are people who have a conspiracy theory view of the world and people who have a cock-up theory of the world. I think this is just a cock-up. I don't believe that this was aimed at doing something to distract attention from the Sensex or plan for the assembly elections. If they were going to do that, they would never have done it in Make in India Week.
No, so what then is the rationale?
I think it was just a mistake, probably at the Basi Rajnath Singh level, to have gone in over there. I think it then escalated because various spokesmen pushed into a corner because Rajnath Singh made that silly statement because this MLA beat up somebody. I think then the BJP did not want to back down. They decided to focus on the sloganeering and suggest that anyone who asked legitimate questions about what followed was somehow a supporter of those terrible slogans that were raised. I think they've now realized that this is backfiring, and hopefully in a day or so normalcy will return. I do believe that they will take action against some of those who assaulted journalists. I do believe that there will be some semblance of fairness, but maybe I'm an optimist.
Okay, Sudhanshu, Mittal, now you can respond to...
Now, Mr. Vajrajan has exposed his true feelings. He has said he's very troubled by the fact that action has been taken against people shouting anti-national slogans or desiring the destruction of this country. Mr. Vajrajan, whether 5 culprits go unpunished, if one culprit is caught and if he's being prosecuted, why should it trouble you? I thought the maxim is, whoever does it, let us try and get him. Is there a justification that because 5 people were not prosecuted, the 6th should not be prosecuted for a crime he's committed, which is against this country itself? Sir, I think that's the most perverse logic, at least I have heard, and I don't expect this from you. Secondly, the design, the so-called design, let me just expose this. This anti-national sloganeering is not done by BJP or the government. So how do we become the conspirators to distract the attention and divert the attention and to divide this nation? And Mr. Zaka,
Mr. Mittal, can I just give a small rejoinder to that?
We want to bring in this element and that element.
One small rejoinder to that. One small rejoinder to that. It's not the media that's calling this a conspiracy or Siddharth Varadarajan or Veer Sangvi. Dattatreya Hosbale. Dattatreya Hosbale. You might want to care.
You at least
he said this is a conspiracy.
Which you are utterly irresponsible because of your preconceived notions.
Mr. Mittal,
and that's not fair.
Dattatreya Hosbale of the RSS thinks this is a conspiracy, not Zaka Jacob.
To have a valid, open and a logical debate, which is getting colored because of your colored vision.
Okay.
So that's unfair. And now, lastly, let me tell you one thing. Here I would have expected a unifying voice in this entire discussion saying the separatists must be dealt with firmly. There cannot be a scope of any mercy or any leverage to people who are against this country. That is fundamental to this debate. Secondly, when it comes to violence by anybody, nobody can condone it.
Okay,
because
we've heard
nobody
you.
has a right to take law in his own hands. Thirdly, when it comes to the police action, the moment an action is taken, if you turn it,
I have to get closing comments.
To legitimate dissent.
Okay, I have to get closing comments both from Mr. Basu as well as from Sanjay Jha. Mr. Nilotpal Basu, ultimately, is this going to again be sort of settled in the people's court in that sense come April and May and in the elections? Where, I mean, essentially it's basically a left versus Congress and left versus BJP battle both in Kerala and in Bengal. And this JNU protest and this JNU incident and this crackdown will ultimately get decided in the people's court, whether it's in Bengal or in Kerala. Is that the ultimate resolution in a democracy?
I think I agree to a great extent with what Siddharth was trying to say, because if this is electoral tactics, then in spite of being an atheist, I have to say God save them, because this is a very bad advertisement for government.
I think CPM is now become a religious
Mr. Mittal, please, let him finish. Please, let him finish, please. He didn't interrupt when you spoke. Mr. Basu, finish your point, please.
I mean, this is really becoming irritating. And therefore, I think what Mr. Singhvi was saying, that it is not because of that. It is because of the deep-seated, very narrow-minded ideological training of the BJP and the RSS. and this attempt to really capture the universities. You see, first mistake was not allowing the JNU statute to come into play and deal with whatever incident has taken place by the university authorities and act on the letter by Mahesh Giri MP, who had no business in writing that letter, and Rajnath Singh jumping on that. That was the first undermining of the constitutional spirit that our universities are autonomous bodies. In fact, it was a repeat of what happened in Central University of Hyderabad. That is why escalation has taken place. It was further escalated when, without any proper evidence, on Saturday, I must share this with your audience, that when we met Mr. Rajnath Singh, we said that, can you authenticate the video which you are saying your only piece of evidence to file a sedition charge? He could not, because that is neither from the CCTV, because in JNU there is no CCTV, and it was neither from any authorized videographer that police had appointed. And now Mr. Mittal is giving us this story that they are the accusers, and they are the advocates, and they are also the judges. It is like a kangaroo court that they are holding the whole country ransom to. I think our democracy is matured enough to overcome this kind of...
Mr. Mittal, time out. I don't have any more time. And apologies. Mr. Mittal, I don't have any time. Thank you. It's over. The debate's over. Thank you. I'm going in a commercial break. Thank you very much. Sudhanshu Mittal, Sanjay Jha, Nilotpal Basu, Siddharth Varadarajan, Vikram Singh and Veer Sangvi. I'm completely out of time. I'm sure the story is going to be in the news. We thought end of last week the story would have died a natural death. The government would have de-escalated. Instead, on the contrary, they did escalate it over the weekend, and now the story has got a life of its own. Tomorrow, the Supreme Court will take up on an urgent basis the petition that was moved by journalists asking for more security for us to do our jobs. We'll be getting you reports of what the court says and how that hearing goes through the course of tomorrow. In the meanwhile, we're just hoping that whoever it is, BJP, MLA or lawyers associated with the BJP, no matter how powerful and how well connected they are, that the law of this land will finally catch up with them, because in this country, in this democracy, and as per our constitution, no one, no matter how high up the pecking order in the government you are, no one has the authority to take the law into his or her own hands. And that's what happened in Patiala House Court yesterday. And we hope that the full force of the law of this land will catch up with those people. Finally, I'm going to take a break. When we at 10 o'clock, right after this show, you can watch that full interview with the Junior Minister for Home